Hello, my name is Sasha Manners and welcome to this how-to video on loading and symbolizing data in the ArcGIS Map Viewer. So here we are in the Map Viewer interface, and this can be found by selecting the Map tab in your ArcGIS homepage. Now, as you can see, my map is looking a little bit empty, so the first thing I'm going to do is add some data. Now to do that, I need to hit the drop-down arrow next to Add and select Add Layer from File. This is where I can drag and drop my own CSV data from my computer. Now this is a point dataset from the Big River Watch UK on animal species, habitat and environmental surveying. I'm happy with my fields, so I'm going to select Next, hit Next again, and click Create and Add to Map. Now we can see that my point data has been added into my map here. Now, something useful to note is that you can change your base map in the ArcGIS Map Viewer. All we need to do that is select base map on the left-hand side, and here you can see a selection of different options. For example, I could choose a dark grey canvas, one that was slightly lighter grey, even an OpenStreetMap background. But for now, I'm happy with my topographic base map, but it is useful to keep in mind that you can change these as you style your data. I'm going to head back to my layers pane. So the first thing to note is that there are a couple different ways you can style your data. If I select styles, I can see that there are already a couple of different options here. Right now I have single symbol selected, but I could also choose to select heat map and show my data in this way instead. However, I'm happy with my points for now. I could also style my points through aggregation. Here the options are clustering, where you can edit the cluster radius or the size, and also the cluster fields, labels and pop-ups. We could also choose to style our data through bins, where our options are the same. For now though, I'm happy with my points. Next, I'm going to find another data layer to supplement my point data. Now I know that I've got points from the Big River Watch UK, so it'd be useful if I had some rivers in my map as well. Now to enter the Living Atlas, I'm going to hit the drop-down arrow and then Browse Layers. And this is where I'm going to select the Living Atlas drop-down. Now it's worth checking in the Living Atlas for any data you're looking for, just in case it's available here and freely accessible. I'm going to click Add next to the data that I've chosen, and you can see it will pretty quickly appear on my map, although it's looking rather jumbled at the moment. I'm going to drag and drop my points layer above in my contents pane, just so it's a bit clearer to see. But there is another couple of steps we can do just to make our data a bit clearer. If I select my point data and head to Filter on the right-hand side, I can add a new query to filter my data and make it a bit clearer what I'm looking for. Now what I'm doing here is filtering my data by the England boundary. So when I save that, I suddenly have far less points on my map. But I'm going to go one step further and filter this again by adding a new query where my condition is beaver sightings that have been answered yes. And now we can see that I have far fewer points on my map. They're still a little bit hidden though, so to make them a bit easier to see, I'm going to head back into my Styles tab and instead hit Style Options. When I select the pencil, I can see that there are a range of options for my symbol, which is currently selected as Basic Point. Here the options include points of interest, arrows, and a range of other options. But for this one, I'm going to choose a pin. I'm also going to increase the size of my pin just so it's a bit easier to see, and change the colour of the vector marker as well. I'm happy with my points, so I'm going to hit done. And now we can see I've got point data for beaver sightings across the UK, overlain over my UK rivers. But what if I wanted to zoom in on an area of interest? I can see that in Devon there were quite a few beaver sightings, so maybe I want to pinpoint this county as somewhere of interest. To do that, I'm going to head back into my Living Atlas through Browse Layers and Living Atlas. If I type in UK counties, I can immediately see that I've got a layer from the ONS that I can use. This is added to my map, but it's not quite showing what I want it to show at the moment. So using the same technique, I'm going to head back into my filter tool and add a new filter where my county name is Devon, and save that. So we can see now that I'm a bit closer to what I'm looking for. If I rearrange my layers again by dragging and dropping, I can then go in and style my county polygon a little bit more. By hitting the pencil again, I can choose to create a brighter outline that's maybe a little bit wider and easier to see, and also get rid of my fill as well by selecting no colour. If I drag this boundary to the top, I can then see that I've got something that resembles what I'm looking for, which is beaver sightings across Devon as well. My rivers are still looking a little bit bright for me, so I'm going to head into my style options of my rivers and just increase the transparency to 50%. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to hit done. Now the last thing to do is to save my map. So I'm going to head over to the Save button, Save As, give it a title, and hit Save. And there we have it, an introduction to Map Viewer and the beginnings of a map displaying wildlife sightings across the UK.